All right, thank you so much, everyone. We are back and we are live now. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ijoma Kalu. I'm the host for today's live session for the Youth Leadership Development Program live sessions. We have today our amiable facilitator, Ms. Adela Babatunde, on the call. She's going to be taking the session on public speaking. She'll be with us. She'll join us, very shortly. Yes. All right. So, in order not to waste our time, as we know, we always have 1 hour for these sessions. And I want to just see if there are any students on the live call yet. I do see students on the live call. I see you, Nana. I see you, Okwe Gilbert. I see Mary Ayola. I see Veronica Ewora. And I see Amarachi. Thank you so much, guys, for joining the call in time. Please remember to go ask your teammates to join the public speaking class today. Ask your schoolmates, everyone that you know who is supposed to be part of this program. Tell them we've started, we are live. We have a lot packed in for you today. A lot. In fact, outside of the live session with Ms. Adeola, we have people who are bringing you goodies and who would like to speak with you today. Thank you so much. Okay, I see everyone saying hello. And please make sure that you're coming in with your questions as usual, coming in with anything that you, any contribution you would like to make to this session. I'm just going to put my phone here so I'm not always going back and forth. I want to also be able to see the messages. All right, without further ado, I would like to just make a brief introduction, please. Omokaro, I would like to call on you first. Just a brief introduction to Trickle and what it's about and why the students should be excited about hearing from you. Our Trickle team for 10 minutes to speak about their product and how they would like to be connecting with Nigerian students today. I'll yield the floor now to Omokaro from Trickle Africa. Trickle, you have the floor, Omokaro. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Ijoma. Please confirm.
I have a shaky network. Please, can you confirm that you can hear?
Okay, yeah, I wanted to be sure that it's on my end. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. We're excited to be here, and excited because we have put together a product or a platform that is designed specifically for students. And what better avenue to discuss that platform than a youth leadership program that LEAP Africa is running. So kudos to LEAP Africa as well for putting together this program, and I'm sure that the beneficiaries or the participants would gain a lot from it. So who is Trickle, or what is Trickle? Right, Trickle, we are a tech company, right? We design and develop tech products that solve different problems. But the product we're speaking to today is specifically designed for students. And the idea is that we know there's a lot of funding, a lot of money in the telecoms industry, right? From when you buy airtime, when you buy data, all this other stuff. And there's a lot of benefits and revenue that is being generated. We came up with a solution to see how can we channel some of these revenues, right, to empower those who need it the most. And who else needs it the most than our students who are in school? In fact, I don't want to bore you with the statistics, but if you check, you find that there's a huge percentage of students who are dropping out of school because they're not able to meet their financial demands, right? So the Trickle platform is designed to assist you to meet some of your financial demands, and you don't have to do anything new that you're not already doing today. So it's just what you're doing today, you're then using a different platform to deliver those same things, and then you're getting additional benefits from it, right? So we've designed a platform. It's hinged on, currently, you can get digital products when you buy airtime, data, pay electricity bills, and all of that stuff. You get commissions, right? And those commissions are withdrawable to your bank account at any time. So, and not just you, when you buy and people, within your social network, your father, your mother, your parents, siblings, anybody who is connected to you, when they also buy, you get benefits as well. Now, we're not just building this platform just for financial benefits. We're building this platform also for educational empowerment. So we have a platform on the Trickle app that is called the Keep platform, and Keep stands for Knowledge, Employability, and Entrepreneurship Program. So we have different programs that are being channeled through that platform that is targeted at students to empower you, not just financially, but also prepare you for the world of work once you're done with school. There are other things that we have in the pipeline. We're working on put together a scholarship with some partners, but that's not fully fine-tuned yet. And once that is done, it will be launched to the general public. But without further ado, I want to allow, Ejoma, if you would, I don't know if you allow right now, if my team can just quickly walk you through the interface for like 2 to 3 minutes so that you see what's in there and what you stand to benefit. Ejoma, is that okay?
Yeah, please go ahead. You have 2 minutes. Thank you so much.
Okay, Eniola, please kindly go ahead and walk us through the Trickle platform.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll be sharing my screen.
All right, carry on. You should have access.
Right. Can everyone please confirm they can see my screen?
We're yet to see what you're sharing, but it says you're sharing your screen.
Okay.
Right, it's visible now.
All right,
Yeah.
perfect. So obviously I'm supposed to walk you through the onboarding phase, but since I am already logged in, I will just take us straight to the apps interface because it's just 2 minutes, so we can just see what Trickle is about, right? So obviously this is the login page, and I'm going to log in with my biometric. And yes, I am in. So as we said, like Trickle is here to help benefit students through transactions they do on a daily. So as you can see, our quick features, we have airtime and data, utility, Trickle Keep, which Caro has mentioned, Trickle Up, and airtime advance. So basically what you see here is my total balance, and my total balance is the amount of commissions I have earned while using Trickle, from buying airtime and data, and paying for my electricity and cable TV bills. So if I wanted to transact now, all I need to do is click on airtime and data, right? Then obviously these are my recent. So can someone, Ijon, please, can you help me with, or anyone just help me with a phone number so I can just show how I can buy credit for them through Trickle? Just anyone can volunteer their phone number.
Okay, the students, and I'm just going to see if any student is dropping their phone number here, because I'd like a student to get it if possible. So
Yeah.
here, students, you can drop the fastest finger to drop a phone number, I believe, gets an Eniela, you're confirming that they actually do get airtime right now, yeah?
Yes, they would
Okay,
definitely do it.
fine.
Yes.
I'm trying to see if anyone is making a comment with their phone numbers yet. I haven't seen that. I want it to go to everyone. I don't want to use my number, so I don't see anyone dropping their phone number yet. Is it possible to use one from your team? I don't have
Yes,
any
just
number
to
by heart that I
have,
would like to use right now.
all right, okay, that's fine. That's fine. It was
Yeah.
just to like let someone just understand the experience so you'd see how
Yeah.
it's fine. Okay, so I would just use my phone number, right? So input my phone number, right? Click on airtime. But before we go on, right, I would like you to pay attention to my commission balance, and I would want you to see how my commission balance would increase, right? So you can see right now my commission balance is 44,984 naira, right?
Yeah.
See how my commissions will increase after I buy credit. Then MTN, so let's just say I do 1,000 naira, right? And obviously I want to top up with my debit card. Okay. As you can see, right, you can see I just recharged and I got 1,000 naira. As you can see, I recharged and I got 1,000 naira. Credit alert, commission earned through MTN vending, right? So as you can see that for every transaction you do, we always make sure there's a receipt, just in case maybe you buy for a friend or a family member and you just want to show them proof that you actually got value for them. So I can either share the receipt to WhatsApp, messaging anyone, right? Then if I click on done and I refresh, you would see that my commission balance has increased. Can you see that?
Oh yes, it was 4,000 something before. So how much was the commission each student received? Or
So it
rather,
depends on the tier.
okay.
Exactly, but you can receive up to 3%. So it depends on the tier you do, but you can receive up to 3% depending on the tier. So if you transact 100 naira, 200 naira, obviously the commission will be different from when you transact 1,000 naira. So it just depends on the tier.
All right.
Exactly. So then moving forward, if I wanted to withdraw this amount to my bank account, so all I need to do is click on commission balance, right? Then you would see where it says withdraw commission. Then so if I click on withdraw, right? So all I need to do is input my bank. So for example, I use First Bank, then I type in my account number. I think that's my account number, right? Yeah, exactly. So I am Bamiji Benedict Eniola. So all I have to do is just input the amount I want to withdraw and I input my transaction PIN. So that's to show that for every commission you earn on Trickle, you can withdraw that amount to your bank account. But I
All
choose not
right.
to withdraw my commissions because I want to leave them on the platform. I can either use this my commission balance to either get value back on Trickle or I can withdraw it to my bank account. And as you can see my transaction history, these are scenarios of where I've actually transferred to my account.
Okay. Thank you so much, Eniola, for the demo. Thank you, Team Trickle. Students, I hope you're paying attention to Trickle. So right after this session, we'll be giving you all the information on how to sign up to Trickle. We're partnering with Trickle this year to ensure that you're reaping some benefits from the program. Please, sincere apologies for my background noise. It's going to be ending soon. But right after this call, we will be sending you through our Telegram platform, through email messaging, as we've always reached out to you, how to go about downloading and using Trickle for your benefits. I'm so sorry. I'm a bit distracted with noise from outside. Thank you so much, Team Trickle. You can pause the demo now. We'll be letting you know how the students are enjoying the platform once they sign up. Thank you so much, Eniola. Thank you so much, Omokaro. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So without
Thank you very
further
much.
ado, yeah, we'll be going right into the reason we have come today, which is the public speaking live session. I've seen messages on the YouTube live chat saying they're excited about today, and I don't want to keep anybody waiting extra long to hear from Ms. Adeola today. I'm going to say, Ms. Adeola, thank you so much for even giving us the time to run our demo, and we are back here. So you have the floor now. I'm bringing it to you. Ms. Adeola is a seasoned public speaker, and she goes about doing trainings on public speaking and communication. And she's here to give you from her wealth of experience what it means to be a modern public speaker, to convince an audience and to debate properly, convince an audience about whatever it is that you want to say. You are learning this program today, or you're learning about public speaking today because you signed up for this program to advocate for a Nigeria that works, a Nigeria that we all want. And you need to do that by speaking to people convincingly. So Mr. Adeola is here to take you through what it entails being a public speaker. Please, a round of applause for Mr. Adeola. I'll be in the YouTube chat and I'll be taking your questions and your contributions, and I'll be bringing it to her. She'll be seeing it live, so that at any point she will respond to your messages or she will respond to any questions that you have. Like you have the floor now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Ijoma. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. And I want to thank Leap Africa. I want to thank YLDP. I also want to thank Joy and Ijoma and all the entire management of YLDP and Leap Africa for inviting me. It is an honor to be here again, virtually, sharing with you today. So it's a pleasure. Thank you so much, everyone. Now, as Ijoma has rightly said, this is going to be a public speaking workshop, and we have just a few minutes, and so we are limited with time. And so I'm going to focus on a structure that would help you. And so I have a promise for you. I have a promise, and here's my promise. Here's my ask for you, right? If you give me your attention for just 40 minutes, okay, I will teach you what I have learned in 7 years. Yes, it is a simple but powerful formula that can make you a sought after speaker. So unfortunately, I cannot see the feedback on YouTube, but if you're on Zoom and you can hear me, I would need you to respond so I can know that I'm not having a personal morning devotion, right? That I'm not talking to myself. So if you are agreeing to give me your attention for 40 minutes, I'll keep it to 40. I will be able to teach you in 40 minutes what I've learned in 7 years. If you agree to give me your attention, could you please type yes in chat so I know I'm not alone? Yes, please type yes in chat. Excellent, thank you. Thank you. Setting my timer. Excellent. Excellent, all right. So now we have, I see your yeses in chat. They're responding with yeses, thank you. All right, so let's get into it. Now, for those who don't know me, I believe that a short introduction would be appropriate. I am Adeola Babatunde, certified competent communicator, certified master trainer by the IFC, and I'm the founder and lead coach at Present Right Academy, a public speaking school for women. All right, and I'll be taking you on this journey. Now, why are we doing this workshop? I heard Ijoma say some of you want to change things, right? You want to advocate for different things in Nigeria. You want to advocate for better living conditions. You want to advocate for improved healthcare, improved technology, education, and many things like that. And one of the tools that we use for advocacy is our voice. And so today I want to teach you how to use this tool to advocate properly, right? And we are doing this workshop because out of a survey that was conducted, 92% agree that excellent presentation skills are crucial to any career and anything worth doing. So whether you are advocating or you're trying to get a job or you're trying to, whatever it is you're doing, once you can excellently present and deliver, you have an opportunity to be successful in that field. And so that is why we need to increase your chances of success by helping you improve your speaking skills. Now, why is this session important to you? I want you to type in chat. What is one thing you want to get from today's session? Please type that in chat. What is one thing you want to get from today's session? Now, what I know that you may want to get from today's session, what you may want to get is that you want to be successful. Like I said in the previous slide, if you want to be successful, you have to be able to communicate your ideas. No matter how brilliant you are, if everything you know is in your head and we don't hear you, we cannot know how brilliant you are. If you want to change things for a community or your nation, and you don't advocate, we don't hear your voice, you're not using your tool, we cannot support you. So if you want to advocate, if you want to make a change, make an impact, and if you want to be seen, heard, and valued, you would need to pay attention to this class. Are we together? Right. So I need, and are they typing on YouTube? Can you see why they want to improve their public speaking? Ijoma, please give me feedback. Are they telling you one thing they want to learn from today's class? One thing, just one thing. It'd be nice if I can get a couple of them so I can help to, tailor the training according to what they're.
Amina Abubakar wants to advocate for the rights of persons with disabilities, and Nasai wants to be able to use his voice effectively, and somebody says they want to be a better public speaker, wants to be heard and act upon their call. If they speak, they want people to act upon their call. So yes, these are some of them.
Thank you so much, Ijoma. Brilliant. So these are very wonderful reasons. Advocate for people living with disability, use your voice effectively. You want people to act on what you're saying. Now listen to me. I'm going to share with you a simple but powerful formula. You need this formula. You need to pay attention. If you were on your phone, on Instagram, you need to drop that Instagram. You need to close it now. Just pay attention, okay? Like I said, give me 40 minutes. Speech is power, says Ralph Waldo Emerson, right? It is to persuade, to convert, and to compel. So I understand you. You are in the right place. What you want to do is noble. You want to advocate for people to have better living conditions, to improve the lives of Nigerian citizens and possibly even other African citizens, right? And you also want people to act on what you're saying. Now, what you need to first of all understand is there is a way the human brain works. There's a way the human brain works. Before I jump into that, let me just quickly say that first. So if you want to make impact, you're in the right place. If you want to make a difference, you want to change the narrative, you want to leave a lasting legacy, build capacity, be a positive contributing member, you're in the right place. And I've kept it simple. I'm going to teach you opening, structure, closing. Okay, just the opening, the structure, and the closing, and then you see my contacts, share my contacts. So before we jump right into it, 87% of employers rate communication skills as the top factor in hiring decisions. So if you go to an organization and you cannot communicate effectively, they're worried. And they're saying that 87% of them are saying this skill that we are teaching you today is a top factor in hiring decisions. So it's not just for advocacy, it's for a whole gamut of things, right? Now let's go into the first thing I want to teach you, how to create a powerful opening. Can anyone remember how I started this presentation? Can anyone remember the first thing I started with? Anybody? Who can remember the first thing I started with? Yes, anyone?
The feedback in the YouTube is a bit slow, so people are not able to, they get it a few minutes after, so I'm not able to see the messages as they go on.
Okay, I completely understand. Thank you. All right, so I'll just take it back. Unfortunately, we have to work like this, but it's fine. We'll do the best with what we have. Okay, thank you for that, Ijoma. So if you see now, look at this slide. This slide has my introduction. It tells you my name and why I'm qualified to be here. But this is not my first slide, right? The first slide, this is the second one. So the first one is just to say, it's just the title cover, the title page. The very first slide is me asking you for your attention for 45 minutes in return for giving you knowledge I gained in 7 years so that you can become a sought after speaker. This thing here is what we call a hook. This thing here is what we call a powerful opening. Now, why is a powerful opening important? A powerful opening is important because as your audience, in the first few seconds, 30 seconds, they are asking themselves, are you going to be interesting or are you going to be boring? If you're going to be boring, I better go on Instagram, go back to WhatsApp, get on TikTok, and entertain myself. But so what you need to do if you want to stand out as an interesting speaker, if you want people to listen to the rest of your presentation, no matter what you are advocating for or speaking on, you first of all have to get them hooked. You first of all have to get them hooked. I remember one day I went into a cinema, my friends and I, we suddenly decided that yes, mothers needed to watch movies too. Mothers needed time out. And so when the children went to school, we went to the cinema and then we settled for a particular movie. The title of that movie, I can't remember right now. But when we sat down and we watched the first 2 minutes, now before we chose the movie, we were not sure. We weren't certain of the movie we wanted to watch. But the moment the movie started, 2 minutes into the movie, I told myself, I must watch the rest of it. I wish I could play it. If you were in a more robust class, I'd have played it for you, but we have just a little time. Immediately that movie started playing. First 2 minutes, I said to myself, I must watch this movie to the end. Now, movie producers know this thing. They even know that if they can hook you from the trailer, you would want to watch the rest of the movie. So how you present yourself at the beginning can tell your audience, can inform them on whether or not they want to listen to the rest of your presentation or not. Do we get this? I hope you get this. How you start determines whether your audience follows the rest. So whatever it is you're saying, you can start with what we call a hook. Now, what is a hook? A hook is something that grabs your audience's attention, that makes them say, what? Really? Wow, I need to pay attention to this. Do you get that? And for those of you who are on Zoom, you can give me some feedback so that I can know that I'm not having a personal devotion. This is very important, okay? Now, if you are starting, you have to start with something that says, something that gets your audience thinking, wow, I can't believe I need to listen to the rest of this. And so I'm going to welcome you into the world of, I'll give you three ways you can hook your audience, okay? Number one, you can hook your audience with a short story. You can hook your audience with statistics or a quote or a question. Okay, so I said 3, but I'm giving you extra here. I'm good like that. I'm giving you 4, right? Now, when you start your presentation, listen to me. Some people think that, oh, I've got to start with my name because it's the polite thing to do. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Adeola Babatunde, and today I'll be talking about public speaking and boosting your confidence. And I'll be sharing 3 things with you on how to improve your confidence. But before I start, I'd like to define the meaning of confidence. There is nothing starting like that. There's nothing wrong with starting that way. However, the challenge there is we expect 85% of people to start like that. So if you don't start with something that excites our brain, and I was about to say something about the brain. You see, if you understand how the brain works, it will be easy for you to grab your audience's attention. The brain wants to be excited, stimulated. It doesn't want to be bored. So if you start by saying, hello everyone, good afternoon, my name is Adeola and I'm going to do this for you and I'm going to say this. Yes, you are right, but we expect you to say that. And so you're not exciting us. And because you're not exciting us, we go to more exciting platforms like Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. Do you see this? So the next time you want to start your presentation, even if you are advocating for persons with disability, start with a powerful moving story on disability. Say there was a young man. He had 3 children and he was doing so well. His children were doing excellently well in school. They were growing. He had gotten married 7 years ago. Everything was working for him. All of a sudden, he had an accident and had to live with disability. And because of this, his life took a downturn. He couldn't work anymore. His wife had to support the family. His children were sent out of school. And today, 2 years after that accident, because he couldn't support himself, he died. Ladies and gentlemen, how many of such stories do we want to listen to before we wake up? Do you see this? That when you start that way, you have tugged at their heartstrings. You have pulled on their emotions. You share a short, powerful story. Now people want to listen to the rest of what you want to say. As opposed to, good afternoon, my name is Sadiq Ahmed, and today I want to talk to you about persons living with disability. First of all, let us define what a disability is. A disability is when you cannot walk, you cannot talk, and then you start to go. There's nothing wrong with that. Listen, however, we expect you to start that way. And when you do, you're not exciting. We quickly move on to Instagram to kill that boredom. I'm going to move on. The next one now is statistics. It's a short, I talked about the short story, right? This is just an example of a story, right? I was driving to work, and as I was driving to work, I saw a car that looked just like mine. You know, maybe a Bugatti. Let's just call it a Bugatti, right? I saw a car that looked like mine, and I was, all of a sudden, I started a race that nobody knew I was in. I was just increasing my speed and being in a race with somebody who didn't know I existed. And by the time I caught up with this car, I had driven past my place of work. And when I came to my senses, I just told myself, Dila, focus on your goal. This is what happens when you don't focus. Now, why did I put this story here and why did I write topic? I'm trying to show you that if you have a topic that has to do with focusing on your own goal, or you paying attention to your own journey, or just being on your own lane, this is a story that you can share. I'm trying to show you an example of a story that you can share if this was your topic. Now let's go to statistics. Now, lost productivity. This is a statistics by the Marketo marketing software by Adobe, right? And it's saying lost productivity and poorly managed leads cost companies at least $1 trillion every year. Do you know the meaning of lost productivity? While you're at work, you're on Instagram. While you're at work, you're on Facebook. Like when somebody comes into the company and says, I want to buy from you, if you don't carefully manage that person and make sure that they come into the company correctly, they leave. And then this costs companies $1 trillion. And then you can have a conversation in the company to say, based on this statistic, this is eye-opening. We think we're not productive, but we think we're not profitable, but actually we're losing money because of our low productivity and poorly managed leads. Do you see? So when you come with a statistic, and statistics are powerful. Imagine if you come to say, I like to use this one, where you say something like, imagine that 92% of every girl in Africa has experienced female genital mutilation, and then you quote your source, and you say, meaning that at least from every 4 girls in this room, at least 3 out of every 4 girls in this room have had FGM, and you say, we need to address this issue. You see, you're giving them a statistic that is pulling and tugging at their hearts. And they are saying, oh my God. So no matter what you do, you can go the way of telling a short story. You can go the way of sharing a statistic, depending on what you want to talk about. You can also go the way of asking a question. Questions are powerful. And when you ask a question, it stops you in your tracks. I'm going to ask a question. How old are you? Now, the moment I ask you that question, whether you can respond to me or not, your brain supplied your age to you in this moment. Your brain supplied your age to you to say, this is how old I am. So that is what happens when you ask a thought-provoking question. Actually, it is a thought-provoking question, because you can just ask a question, why are you here? Or who is there, right? That's not the kind of question we're talking about. We're talking about a thought-provoking question. And this one I like to use a lot. Who told you you'll be alive tomorrow? Who told you? Yeah. And this is a good question to ask when you have a topic that is centered around health, making better health choices, watching your diet, exercising, and things like that. Okay. Who told you you'll be alive tomorrow? Who gave you the assurance that you will see tomorrow? You don't have that assurance, but you have some things that can help you elongate your life, but you're not doing it. What is so you see now, when you start to ask that question, people start to think, and they start to say, oh my God, that's so true. Who told me I'll be alive tomorrow? So thought-provoking questions also do the job. I'm also going to go to the next one, which is a quote. right? A quote. Now, I love this quote a lot, possibly my best quote. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. You see, when you lead your conversation, when you open with a quote, it's unfortunate I couldn't open with so many, I couldn't open with everything, right? I opened with I opened with a promise. Yeah, I opened with a promise. Now, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. This quote is so loaded. But when you want to start your presentation, go and look for a quote that summarizes, that is relevant. So I should mention this, whether you're using a quote, whether you're using a question, whether you're using a statistic or a short story, make sure that it is relevant to your topic. Don't share a story about how Dubai is not giving Nigerians visa and what you want to talk about is persons with disability. Do you get it? Does it make sense? Unfortunately, I cannot get your feedback, but do you get it? I hope you get it. Yes? Make sure that your quote is relevant. Your question, your statistic, your story is relevant, right, to your presentation. Now let's go into what I call the structure, which is the body. Now listen. When I started, I said, I'm going to share 3 things with you. I'm going back there now to share this with you. I'm going to share, what's it called? I said I'm going to share the opening, the structure, and the closing. The last one is just for me to share my contact details. But I focused on just sharing with you 3 things: the opening, the structure, and the closing. That's it. When you want to deliver your presentation, organize. Listen, organize. Set up a system. Let even your presentation have a system. When you have a system, it's easy for you to remember what you want to say. It's easy for your audience to follow you, and it's easy for them to recall. So the first thing I've taught you today is your opening, right? The second thing I want to teach you is your structure. Now, when I talk about structure, it means the body of your presentation, but the body of your presentation has to be organized. The first step to achieving order, organization, and structure in the body is to limit what you want to share to about 3 to 5 things, depending on how much time you have. Don't overwhelm your audience with facts. That is what a lot of us try to do because we're trying to sound intelligent. I want to tell you about this, I want to tell you about that, I want to tell you blah, 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 and then we overwhelm our audience with data, information, fact, and they cannot remember what to hold on to. So what you want to do is you want to say, what I want to do, I have opened my presentation, but I want my audience to remember these 3 things. I want them to remember these 3 things about persons living with disability. I want them to remember these 3 things about girls and boys and children who cannot go to school in Nigeria because their parents have no money. I want us to remember these 3 things about girls or women who, whose parents are drug addicts and cannot fend for whatever. Yeah. And you specify these are the 3 things I'm going to share because knowledge is infinite. Knowledge is infinite. Knowledge is infinite in the sense that it is continuous. There's too much. No matter what topic you choose, there is too much to talk about. So you have to limit what you want to say so that you don't end up, what we call confusing your audience with an overload of information. Take your topic and say, I'm only going to share these 3 salient points. Number 1, for persons living with disability, let's look at the kind of disability. Number 2, let's look at the struggles they are having. And number 3, let's look at the solutions we can provide. Do you see this? Number 1, I'm going to talk about the challenges they're having. I'm going to talk about, number 1, the kind of disability. Number 2, the challenges they are having. And number 3, the solutions we can provide. Keep it short and simple. Okay? And for each part you'll be sharing, start with a hook. So for example, you want to talk about the you want to talk about the kind of disability. Say, for example, today I'm only going to be shedding light on people who are living with a certain kind of disability. And I'm going to be sharing disability when it comes to people who are, I don't know the right words to use now, but when I was growing up, we had someone who could neither speak, nor he couldn't speak and he couldn't hear, right? He had a hearing and a speaking disability, right? And one very interesting thing happened when we were at home. He went to a school where they taught him about they boosted his confidence, and he was able to really, he was really able to interact with all of us, people. He was even able to take buses and go and visit his friends, even though he couldn't hear and he couldn't speak. And when our friends come, because he was my neighbor, when our friends come, he would come to our house and he would sign, he would do a sign and say, "Are you saying that these people cannot use sign language?" And we will say, "Yes, they cannot use sign language." And he will start to laugh at them, like, "Can you imagine?" And I'm like, he's supposed to now, in a normal, I don't want to say normal, but normally, or in some clients, he may be feeling like the person with a disability, but they had taught him to not view his ability not to speak or hear as a disability, but see that everybody has their own disabilities. You just focus on how to communicate with other methods that you have. You see, so I can say to you, I'm going to be talking about persons living with disability today, but today I'm only going to be focusing on people who can neither talk nor hear. Do you see? And then you go into the second thing, and I just shared a short story because I wanted to tell you about the kind of disability I was going to be going into, which is people who cannot speak and people who cannot hear. And then the second one is I want to talk to you about, I think the first thing I said was people, the kind of disability. Number two is the challenges they have. So one of the challenges they have is that they cannot hear. So for example, imagine that this Zoom call now, they can't hear what we're saying, but they want to belong, they want to participate, and they also want to gain value, right? And then we go into the solution, which is to get somebody who would interpret, just like we have on this call today, and help them make sense of what is going on. So you see how you can, and I thank you so much, YLDP. Thank you so much, Leap Africa, for this, for bringing that person on and making sure that this is very inclusive and everyone can participate, right? So whenever you want to present, I know this is a bit heavy, but I want you to remember that what I'm trying to say in essence is limit what you want to say to 3 things. Limit it to say, I will just share these 3 points with my audience. Now, you may say to me, okay, if I'm going to share 3 points, I may not have a lot to say, and I have 15 minutes. So what do I keep on saying if I have 15 minutes and you want me to just share 3 points? Now, that is why I said, start with a hook, introduce your main message. Now, when you want to introduce your first point, you start with, remember the hook we used at the beginning, something that will grab your audience's attention. You introduce that hook again when you want to introduce the first part. You introduce that hook again, not that same hook, but you introduce another hook that introduces your main message, your first point. So remember, my first point was that I was going to be focusing on people with a hearing and speaking disability. And the hook I used was a short story about how I grew up with someone who could neither hear nor speak, but who was trained to believe that he had everything he needed. He wasn't disabled, and he even started to see people that could speak and hear who could not use sign language as the people who were disabled. He was looking at them and said, can you imagine? You can't even use sign language. Where are you from? And we would laugh about it. And I was like, oh my God, I love what they did to this boy. Do you see? That was me starting with a hook, a short story. Now, my main message there is to say, for people living with disability, for people who can neither hear nor speak, they are going through many things. And I can then begin to talk about any challenges that come with that disability. Do you see? Now, for the second part, you have to start with another hook. Yes, you have to start with another hook. So a hook is basically what you say first before you now begin to share your message. So if I wanted to hook you and I wanted to talk to you about how to eat healthy, I can say something like, I hope I'm still screen sharing. I can say something like, do you think that you will live to see your children's children? And people are saying, what? Why would you ask that kind of question? I'm like, do you think you're going to live to see your children's children? Or do you think you will live to see your daughter get married? And you're like, God forbid, I reject it. Yeah, I've gotten your attention. I have hooked you with that thought-provoking question. Now I can go ahead and say, if you really want to see your children's children, if you really want to see your daughter or your son get married, what is on your plate? What are you eating? What are your choices? Are you just, just dumping all sorts of unhealthy things on your system, or are you making healthy choices? Do you see? So I hope that you get the hook. Unfortunately, I can't get real-time feedback, but I hope you are understanding, and I hope that you are getting an understanding of what I'm talking about. And then when we get to part 3, so do you see how this is a system? You start with a hook that introduces your audience to what you want to talk about. After that hook, you go into the body of your presentation. You split it into 3 clear parts. Remember, do not overload your audience with too much information. Why is this important? Because if it has no points, there is no point. Your presentation has to have a point. And for it to have a point, you need to have order, structure. And you don't need to share everything about a topic. You only need to share some things. I can promise you, what I can teach you about public speaking is a lot. I teach this over 6 weeks. I teach this over, long periods of time, but we're trying to condense. So there are so many things I cannot share in this session, but I'm trying to share 3 main things, right? Opening, structure. Now, the last part of the structure, remember, whatever you want to talk about, divide it into 3 parts. And you will notice sometimes that I'm repeating what I'm saying because I understand the principle of retention for human beings, right? I have come to share 3 things with you. It is better for you at the end of this session to remember those 3 things than for me to say so much and then you remember nothing, because it has been scientifically proven that you will forget in 3 days. 80% of everything I've shared here, you will forget. So when I repeat some things for you, what I'm doing is trying to increase those things that you remember, right? So number 1, you remember that you need a hook, a powerful opening. Number 2, you need to have the body of your presentation needs to be divided into 3 parts, right? Divide it into 3 parts, and for each, and tell yourself, I'm only going to share these 3 main messages. And for each of those messages, start each one with a hook, something to grab your audience's attention before you share the main message. For example, if you're watching a series, at the beginning of that series, they will do something that will make you want to watch it. At the end of it, they will do something that will make you want to watch the next episode, right? They'll do something that'll make you want to watch the next episode. Those are hooks. Those are hooks. So you can't start with a hook at the beginning and forget about it. You have to carry the hook along, even in the body of your presentation. And finally, as you must have guessed, we're going to talk about how to craft a powerful closing. I'm going to share with you a very simple formula. And the way to close is you summarize what you have said. And after you summarize, you drop a call to action. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, if we must help people living with disability, we must start to look at them as our brothers and our sisters. Or if we must help people living with disability, we must stop the stigmatization and begin to advocate for them. Whatever it is you do, make sure that you end with a call to action. A call to action says, this is what I want you to be able to do. So for the person that says, I want people to begin to act on what I've said, this is one of the ways to achieve that goal. Yeah, to say, at the end of this thing, this is what I want you to do after you're done, right? So a very simple formula I have put here is, finally, ladies and gentlemen, In a world where you can present anyhow, choose to present confidently, right? This is a simple system that I have put here for you. When you want to close your presentation, you can use this phrase, this sentence I have put here for you. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, finally, if in a world where you can lead, in a world where you can choose to be any kind of leader, choose to be a confident leader. In a world where you can choose to lead anything, lead a good cause. In a world where you can choose to do anything, do something that is worth writing. You see, in a world where you can, so whatever it is you do, this is a very simple but powerful and effective formula that you can use to close your presentation, right? And so finally, ladies and gentlemen, in a world where you can advocate for anything or anyone, advocate for the lives of people to be better. Thank you, and God bless you. All right. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Sadeola. Thank you so much. You have fans in the room. The chat section is buzzing. Someone says, I'm no longer going to end my presentation with these few points of mine. I hope I've been able to convince you. Someone says, oh, yes, we're still learning. We know knowledge is a bank that cannot be exhausted. Someone says, your lecture is really interesting. I'm enjoying, someone also said that they're enjoying the sign language interpreter, being on the call, especially when you're talking about, people with special needs, and then people have dropped some questions on the Telegram chat, which I'm going to go check now because they said, okay, no, the questions on the Telegram are being answered by the admin there, but there are a lot of shout outs to you. Everyone is saying thank you. It was such an engaging session and they enjoyed their time. Thank you so much. I don't think there are any specific questions answered right now. I haven't seen any. However, we've also given the students a link for feedback. They can always send feedback, on questions in that feedback form, and we can share with you so that you can answer any feedback questions that they may have. I'm looking through right now, no questions, and I think they really enjoyed themselves. You were clear. I think it's also a testament of the fact that you were very clear, very engaging. They got everything that you had to say, and I'm super glad for that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful one. I don't know if you have any final words to the students as well. Do you?
Thank you so much. So my final words to everyone who will be advocating is your voice matters. Your voice matters, and you deserve to be seen, to be heard, and to be valued. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So the students, you've heard it all. Your voice matters. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to be seen. And we are going to make sure that that is what happens for you on this program. You are going to be put in platforms where you would speak, where you would act for the betterment of the country. Thank you so much. This is just in closing for everyone. You already have your attendance tracker posted for you on the chat box. Please ensure that you sign your attendance for today. For your colleagues who might have missed this session, please let them go back on YouTube and rewatch and sign their attendance as well. If you haven't joined the Telegram group, this is a good time to go join the Telegram group. The link to joining the group is also on the chat box. Please make sure you come back to this video as many times as you need to support you on your journey through advocacy, through making a change for the country. Thank you. Okay, yeah, there are no other comments, and I don't want to keep us, just as our usual fashion is, I will just share my screen for those who may like to just scan the QR code instead of using the link. Just give me a moment. All right, I'm having some challenges with sharing my screen, but as I said, the links are already in the chat box. Please, you can go ahead to use the links in the chat. Even if you're coming to rewatch this video, you're going to see the link is going to always be there in the chat. But I really would like to share my screen just for the sake of it, so that we are all on the same track. Okay, just in case you come back and you are not able to see the links anymore. We're just trying to make sure the reason that we've used YouTube is to just make sure nobody misses anything. Oh my goodness. Okay, I thought I was lost for a second. All right, I think you can all see my screen right now. I'm sharing the link, the QR code. Oh my God. All right, it's up now. So in case you can't see the link on the chat box for any reason, it's right here. Here you can sign your attendance, you can pause the screen and scan, or you can use the link as it also appears for you. I'm going to go next to the link for, in case you haven't received any emails from us whatsoever, you haven't received any emails, maybe you received a text message, or maybe your team member joined, or you didn't get an onboarding email yourself, please use the link that is currently on your screen, or scan the code that is currently on your screen to make sure that you give us your up-to-date email so that we can connect with you via email as well. I'm going to go next now to joining the Telegram community. This is the link and the QR code to join the community in case you haven't done so before. Please make use of them. We would like to chat with you. Community is a growing community. There are thousands of us there currently, and we want to chat, want to know where you're having challenges. I want to give you feedback. We want to use this as an opportunity to even discuss, okay, what did we learn in at the session today? Oh my God, public speaking, it was a great thing. Please make sure that you join. We're doing very terribly on time right now because we want to end at exactly 1 hour after we started. So that will be all for today. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining the session. We'll be waiting for you in the comment section on Telegram. Make sure you ask your friends to come back and come rewatch this. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Yeah.